Saying it's been a rough stretch for the defense lately is an understatement.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, here we go, everybody. It is a new week. Locked On Lions, Locked On Podcast Network, the number one sports podcast network. Matt Dery with you on a Monday, December 22nd, and a Tuesday, December 23rd. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for making us your first listen, everybody. Locked On Lions for today, brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. We got the PFF grades for you, top 5 and bottom 5 on offense and defense from yesterday's loss to the Steelers. We got to discuss Aiden Hutchinson, his interesting quotes following the game yesterday where he brought up the officiating, which I think is ridiculous. The DK Metcalf versus a Lions fan discussion from yesterday at Ford Field. We will get into that. All of that here on a Monday edition of Locked On Lions. Noah Eagle will be on the call for Thursday's Christmas Day game, 4:30 on Netflix. And I suck. I didn't look up if it's on Channel 2 or Channel 7, but it's on one of them. It's going to be on locally. Check your local listings. But Noah Eagle, the son of Aidan Eagle, of course, from CBS. Noah's going to be on the play-by-play call of the Lions and Vikings game at 4:30 on Thursday. We'll talk to him tomorrow. Luke Braun will join us for the crossover on Wednesday, the host of Locked On Vikings. We'll give a shout out in a little bit to our everydayers, tell you about the Everydayers Club coming up, but let's get into it. The Lions defense has been so bad, and you heard me yelling and screaming yesterday. If you missed yesterday's show, go back and check it out. Our Sunday edition of Locked On Lions following the Steelers' 29-24 victory over Detroit. It is simple. The Lions are 8-7. They're not playing good football. They've lost 2 games in a row for the first time since 2022, and their playoff hopes now are at a dwindling 7%. They need to win their last 2 games, Thursday at Minnesota, next a week from Sunday at the Bears. Touchdown Bears. Then they have to hope that Green Bay loses at home to the Ravens next week and then loses at Minnesota in week 18. Good freaking luck, right? It's just going to be very difficult. The Lions have nobody to blame but themselves. As the great Gordon Gekko once said. And if those who don't know who Gordon Gekko is, look him up. Great movie. When somebody wins, somebody loses. And yesterday, I mean, the Lions are finding ways to lose. They're not winning enough games. They're not winning enough battles in the trenches. And this is a organization-wide issue right now. It's everybody is to blame. Everybody. Coaching, players, front office. This is a failure of the entire franchise for this season. But do you want to know how bad, historically bad, this Lions defense has been lately? Our crack research staff has been hard at work here. And I've referenced before how bad the Lions were these following seasons. 2008, when they went 0-16 and were a record-setting bad team. 2020, the last year of the Matt Patricia era. And then 2021, year one of Dan Campbell, where the team had no players. He and Brad Holmes were starting from scratch, and they went 3-13. The Lions have allowed the last 2 weeks 1,000 yards over the past 2 games, 1,000 total yards to the Rams and the Steelers. It's the 4th time in team history that the defense has allowed 1,000 plus yards in a 2-game span. The previous 3 times occurred in 2008, 2020, and 2021. The years I referenced. You cannot win football games if you don't stop the other team. And this team has a lot of talent. This team, I sound like Al Pacino on Any Given Sunday. On this team, gosh, See, I just hurt my voice. We give that inch. Those were despicably bad teams. The Rod Marinelli 08 team, anytime that you are comparing any team to 2008, that's big, big trouble. Go on, you say. Oh, I will. The Lions defense has allowed 2,293 yards the past 5 games. That would be Giants, Packers, Cowboys, Rams, and Steelers. 4 of those games out of 5 were at Ford's Field. That's an old Wojo bit. Play along. 458.6 yards per game in that 5-game span allowed by the defense. The most over a 5-game span in Lions history since the end of the 2020 season. Again, the last year of the Quinn and Patricia era, the Quinn-Tricia era. Ay. I mean, get a stop. There's more. The Lions have allowed 350 plus yards on defense in each of the past 5 games. It is the 15th time in team history that they have accumulated a streak of at least 5 games in the same season, allowing 350 plus yards a game. 4 of those streaks have occurred during the Dan Campbell era. And what has been the biggest argument against Dan Campbell and the coaching staff? Everybody, and what's been, well, not say argument. What's been the biggest complaint? What do you guys as fans complain about the most? Defense. The defensive coordinator. Do you remember the fire Aaron Glenn crowd from 2022? How he wasn't getting it done and he wasn't good enough. Heck, there were some of you in 2023 that said the same thing, especially when the team started a little bit slow mostly in 2022. All right. They're not getting off the field. And we'll go over the PFF grades. We'll talk about the players that have played well and played well yesterday. There weren't a ton of them, and the ones that struggled. But if you can't get off the field, in the third quarter yesterday was just the coup de grace. As the Steelers ran 28 plays and the Lions ran 6 in the third quarter. And Kelvin Sheppard, the Lions defensive coordinator, should not be fired. Justin Rogers, Detroit Football Network, wrote today in his column. It was a very good column, and please subscribe to Justin. I think he does great work. But Justin suggested that the Lions bring in like a veteran defensive assistant coach, almost like a defensive consultant, similar to when they had John Fox on the staff, when they had Dom Capers on the staff many years ago. They've had like veteran guys that were unemployed that had coached before. They were both head coaches, actually. Capers with the Packers, and Fox, of course, coached the Panthers and the Bears. They got to do something. Kelvin Sheppard over the last month is not getting it done. I'm not saying fire the defensive coordinator. We're not going to. I will say this. The Lions shuffle through new defensive line coaches every year. We always talk about Frank Ragnow and how, man, everybody talks about the coordinators, but they really miss Ragnow. You know who else they really miss besides Ragnow, Ben Johnson, and Aaron Glenn? They miss Terrell Williams. Terrell Williams was their defensive line coach last year, and Mike Vrabel went out and got him and plucked him away from Detroit to become the Patriots defensive coordinator, and he has done a whale of a job. He's done a great job. Did you watch Sunday Night Football last night? You see that Chason kid have a monster game? He was a 1-year free agent signee in March, edge rusher from the Raiders. Brad. 1-year guy. Great pickup. There was another team around the NFL that likes to sign players to one-year deals and needed an edge rusher this offseason. Right? But Terrell Williams has been a big loss. Casey Rogers is the current Lions defensive line coach, and it is not working. So I don't know if he's going to be the scapegoat. The Lions seemingly go through D-line coaches every year. They had Todd Wash, they had Davis, they had Williams, they have Rogers this year. But this Lions D-line yesterday was getting mauled by Pittsburgh. And that was with a fourth string left tackle and a backup guard. Keep an eye on D-line coach. If the Lions have to do something, I don't want them firing Kelvin Sheppard. I have a lot of respect for Kelvin Sheppard, and I think he's done a pretty good job. The last month has been an absolute bleep show. So no, he's not done a good job the last month. He's a young coach. He's got a lot of energy. He had this defense playing very well earlier in the year. They're in a bad stretch right now. I'm not firing him. He also needs to be given more talent to work with. All right. Speaking of talent, which guy stepped up yesterday, according to Pro Football Focus? We'll give you the Monday grades, which we do every week. That's next on Locked On Lions. Locked On Lions for this Monday, brought to you by Car Gurus. Car shopping should feel exciting, not confusing. And with Car Gurus, you get the confidence you deserve. They cut through all the noise so you can actually see the best deals on the cars you want. Because when it comes to a big purchase, you deserve the best deal. And Car Gurus makes the whole process simple by giving you real information, real deal ratings, and more listings than anyone else. You can shop the way you want. All right. You love being able to filter by everything, mileage, trim, features. So you're only seeing cars that actually fit what you need. Their price drop alerts are a lifesaver too. You'll get notified the second a car you're watching becomes a better deal. Car Gurus connects you with trusted dealerships for a transparent and hassle-free buying process. With over 4 million listings, the most of any major online automotive marketplace, you'll always find the best deal. Shop the way you want with the tools, data, and unbiased deal rankings that make it easy. Buy or sell your next car today at cargurus.com. That's CARGURUS.com. Cargurus.com. And hey, thanks for making Locked On Lions your first listen each and every day. Thank you for making the Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network. Now, if you haven't already, go check out our brand new Everydayers Club. You get access to an ad-free audio feed for Locked On Lions every day, compatible with Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and every other major podcast app. And an invite to the members-only Locked On Everydayer Club Discord server. Oh, man. Discord was running hot yesterday, and you do not blame them. I don't blame you guys for that. We got a group chat on there for listeners of the show, and I'm hanging out on there as well. Sometimes we go back and forth. So go to lockedonlions.supercast.com. That's lockedonlions.supercast.com, or tap the link in the show notes to learn more. Got to give a couple of shout outs here on Locked On Lions today to a couple of our everydayers. One of them, Jerry Mallory. I saw Jerry the other night over in at Partridge Creek. Great guy. Sometimes does some writing for Pride of Detroit. Huge Lions fan. Big ups to Jerry. And also Bernie Tyson. Hung out with Bernie today at the legendary Mr. Paul's. Bernie loves his Lions. He was actually at the game yesterday and even told me he traveled to the NFC Championship game in San Francisco. He is a huge Lions fan, season ticket holder, and everydayer as well. So thank you, Bernie, for checking us out. All right, we do this each and every week, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. PFF grades, top 5 and bottom 5 Lions from yesterday's defeat at home at the hands of Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. Let's go bottom 5 defense first. And you had to have played double-digit snaps in this game. 5th lowest grade was Amik Robertson, coming in at a 60.1. Could he have been playing his final home game at Ford Field yesterday? Lions are going to make some changes. Marcus Davenport, I can tell you he played his final game as a Lion at Ford Field yesterday. He was fourth lowest at a 51.6. Gaines media poster boy, Alex Anzalone, 51.2. Another guy on the last year of his deal. Tyleik Williams, second worst grade on defense, 46.8. We talked about the first round pick yesterday, just has not made the kind of impact that a first round pick needs to be making. And I know he was taken in the late 20s. I'm not sitting here telling you needed to be a Pro Bowler, but man, that's a name you just don't hear called during games. And Avonte Maddox, Lions safety, 41.3 grade. Those are your lowest graded Lions defenders from yesterday's loss to the Steelers. As far as the best performers on the Lions defense yesterday, Derek Barnes, fifth best grade, 68.1. DJ Reader at a 75.3. If you went on his Twitter feed last night, he was going back at it, going at it with fans. Thomas Harper, 79.3, third highest. Roy Lopez, second highest at an 81.3. PFF loves them some Roy Lopez. And the highest graded Lion on defense yesterday was Jack Campbell, 16 tackle performance, 82.7 grade for Campbell, who's had a really, really good year and really has become one of the better middle linebackers in the league. All right, offensively from yesterday from PFF, lowest graded Lions on offense. Shane Zylstra, the Flying Zylstra brothers, tight end, 57.1. If you watch Zylstra try to block, it's not pretty. Giovanni Ricci, tight end, 56.5. Jahmyr Gibbs, third lowest grade, 56.4. That's got to be the lowest of his season. David Montgomery, 55.9, but he only played 13 snaps. And the lowest graded Lion on offense yesterday, and we talked about this a little bit yesterday, he just looked rusty and not ready to go, was Christian Mahogany, left guard in 70 snaps, 42.4. He missed one series. Miles Frazier filled in for him and played 4 snaps. So those are the bottom 5 Lion offensive players. Top 5 Lions on offense. 5th highest graded player was Penei Sewell, but not his best game, 64.1. Isaac Tesla, 72.0. Jared Goff, 74.2. Second highest Lion, the Ferk dog, Anthony Ferkser, 74.7, or as Jim Nantz kept calling him, Anthony Ferkster. That would be Ferkser. And the highest graded Lion on offense yesterday, he had a good game, including a touchdown catch. Khalif Raymond, 84.3. Was he playing his last game as a Lion at Ford Field? That remains to be seen. He's a free agent at the end of the year as well. So those are your top 5 and bottom 5 Lions from yesterday's loss to the Steelers, a game that just is going to eat at many Lions fans for a long time because it just was not a great performance at all. And I know it came down to the end, and I know there was some officiating blunders and everything else, but bottom line is the Lions just did not get it done when they needed to get it done. And now are facing, basically elimination here. With a loss, if they don't win the last 2 games, and they're going to need help in terms of getting into the postseason. But at 8-7, this is a team that just has not gotten it done. And over the last 5 weeks has not been able to get off the field at all. And that's been a major, major problem for this team all year, really. And has not been good at all. All right. Aiden Hutchinson had some comments yesterday following the game about how what he saw as an officiating problem at the end of the game. And one of the things that Aiden Hutchinson said was he didn't want to use refereeing or officiating or the end of the game as an excuse, but he has never seen 2 offensive pass interference calls at the end of a game to end a game. And any player, in my opinion, that is bringing up the officials after a game like this, and Amon-Ra St. Brown said, yeah, you know what, I pushed off. That's not what cost us the game. Aiden Hutchinson is a defensive captain. He's one of the leaders of the team. He is arguably the best defensive player on this team. The Lions are not going to go anywhere in the future without Aiden. He's a tremendous football player. Had 2 sacks yesterday. Didn't have a great game. Actually, PFF normally grades Aiden pretty high. Graded Aiden Hutchinson yesterday. They gave him a 62.7. Not a great day for Aiden. But to bring up that he's never seen those 2 calls at the end of a game before, why? The Lions, it should never have come down to St. Brown lateraling it to Goff, hurtling 2 defenders into the end zone just to knock off the Steelers at home. It shouldn't have come to that. Anybody on that defense that is out there saying, well, what about the end of that game? Or, I've never seen that from the referees before. We don't want to blame the refs for anything, but no. Stop. Your defense allowed the Steelers to run for 230 yards. I just read to the defensive stats. Own it. Hey, we love the officiating at the end of that game, but that's not what cost us the game. That's what you say. And I think these guys are getting a little bit of a dose of reality because all the last couple weeks, everybody's been kind of speaking in a way that they just cannot believe that we've been this bad. And they have been. Kelvin Sheppard said after the Rams game, nobody's run the ball down our throats. He didn't like the questioning on Thursday. And here comes the Steelers into town, and they gashed his defense. It's time now for the next couple weeks to own that this has not worked this year. I'm not blowing it up. I'm not telling you to trade everybody. I'm not telling you to fire everybody. Not at all. Lions window remains open. Doors open. Plenty of good players on this team, including Aiden. But a little reality check on what's going on and how poorly they've played, I think, has been needed here. And the failure by the front office to address some things this offseason has come back to bite them. And yeah, I get there's injuries, and I get that there's officiating. Got to play through it. Speaking of distractions, there's a story roaming around that I'm going to talk about, and then I'm never going to talk about it again. We'll do that next, right here on Locked On Lions, Monday edition. All right, folks, Locked On Lions brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. NFL Sundays move fast. One big play, and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game. You're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds, every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Lions on FanDuel, 5.5-point road favorites this Thursday in Minnesota against Max Brosmer and the Vikings. Live betting is best when the game starts to shift, a receiver gets going, a defense tightens up, momentum flips after a turnover. FanDuel lets you jump into the moment. Live spreads and money lines adjust instantly. Player props update as guys heat up. You can bet next touchdown scores. You can bet drive results, totals, and much more. Keeps you locked in every snap, every drive, every possibility. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, got a couple weeks left, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. All right, it's a Monday edition, everybody, of Locked On Lions, Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day, the #1 sports podcast network. Noah Eagle, Netflix, play-by-play tomorrow. You also watch Noah do all those Big Ten games on Saturday nights on NBC. And then we'll talk to the legendary Lucas Braun, host of Locked On Vikings. I love Luke Braun. Talk to him on Wednesday as we do the crossover early this week because the Lions are playing on Christmas Day at 4:30. And I know you don't like it, and I don't like it either. I'm going to be very careful with where I go here. Number one, I'm not going to mention the name of the fan that was heckling DK Metcalf. And look, whatever he said to DK Metcalf, Metcalf's claiming it was racial. The fan and his lawyer have issued a statement saying it wasn't. But there are videos all over social media, all over Twitter, all over Blue Sky, all over Instagram, Reels, whatever, TikTok. Why can't we just go to the games and go to the games? Why is it that fans go sit close and spend 3 hours razzing, screaming at the players? I don't condone what DK Metcalf did to the Steelers yesterday. In case you missed it, he grabbed this fan who I saw his name. I'm not giving this fan any love. I'm not putting his name on this show. Not a chance. Not a chance. Just like I have never, ever publicly mentioned the dork that threw the cup at the mouth of the palace that went on a media tour trying to get attention. Guy's an idiot. And this fan acted like an idiot with his blue wig. And hey, he walked down there and DK, which he should not have done, and he's going to be suspended. He should be. You can't put your hands on a fan. Grabbed the guy and then pushed him up, almost like a half punch push type of thing in his face. The fan claims that all he was doing was saying DK's first name and middle name and giving his full name out. DK's claiming that the fan is somebody he got into it with last year when he was on the Seahawks at Ford Field, and mentioned his mother, and there were some racial overtones to it. Or regardless, what are we doing? This is why people don't want to go to games anymore, which sucks because you want to go to games. You want to be in the action. You want to take your kids. But now we just got cell phone videos and everybody's, oh, yeah, DK. And the fan walks down there and DK pushes him and the fan puts his hands up after, like, yeah, I got my 10 minutes of fame. And now he's got a lawyer and he's got putting statements out there that he didn't say racially motivated things. The whole thing is a circus. What just happened to going down to Ford Field and watching some football and rooting on our Lions? Sure. You want to get into it to the fans, and I get it. Sometimes the players, they ask for it. They ask for it. But this fan is a clown. DK is a clown for touching him, putting his hands on him. That should never have happened. I cannot believe he played in the second half. You know, the NFL is like, well, there wasn't a penalty called, so he put his hands on a fan. You cannot do that. But I hate where we're going in pro sports and other things with. Imagine sitting down there and having those seats, really good seats behind the Steelers bench, and the whole game you're surrounded by slappies that are just heckling and yelling at players and saying their full names or whatever. Just watch the game. Can't we just cheer and watch the game? I guess we can't. So that's my take on this. I'm sure the league will step in. I'm sure DK will be suspended. I don't know what's going to happen to this fan. I don't know if he has season tickets. I don't care who he is. And if he's a listener of ours, so be it. Just stupid. Go to the game and watch the game. All right, that'll do it for us here on a Monday edition of Locked on Lions. Thanks for making us your first listen. Please join that Everydayers Club. Noah Eagle is going to join us tomorrow right here on Locked on Lions. Have a great rest of your Monday, everybody.